water. Thanks, sweet. Where's the camera? Oh, there.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Virginia here.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, we're everywhere.
Hi, Brian. Love you.
Got to keep them happy, haven't you?
Hi, Scott. Love you.
And what about these guys? We love you guys as
I
well.
love you too. Brian and Scott are. Brian is the boss, the big boss, and Scott is one of the heads of department. I'm not quite sure which department he runs now.
He does something.
He probably co-runs the whole place right now, and he'll be absolutely wounded that I said he was head of department. Anyway, hello.
Hi, how's your day been so far?
Are you going to see me if I do this?
Yeah, I can see you. If you want to hide from us, that is totally fine. But you had a good day so far?
Oh, absolutely awesome day today. So crowded, so busy, so many chats. I'm in heaven. This is the best show in the world, MCM. Seriously, it really is. I love it. I would do all of them, and I would chase Brian around the block a million times to have me back at every single show.
Well, there's loads now. You've got
It
London,
should be
Birmingham,
the Virginia
Liverpool.
Hay show.
We can get a banner put up at the top there if you want.
Yeah. No, the trouble is I've done them all and love them all and had the best time. Yeah, these shows are awesome for me. I absolutely love
Any fond memories? Seeing you go to many different Comic-Cons. Any fond memories from Comic-Cons in the past? Anything like that?
Oh my God, so many. It's just extraordinary. I mean, billions and billions and billions of from memories from drunken actors who shall remain nameless to, some of the things that happen. This is a little bit saucy. Can we get saucy? Well, not too.
With family being about, I think,
Not too.
can't,
Oh
unfortunately.
yeah, it's not too. Well, I think this is okay to tell, this particular story. So whenever I sign an autograph, I don't just sign it, Virginia Hay, and that's it, and a line underneath. I sign two. I'm so slow. I am slow. Not minded, although probably that too. But I'm slow at signing the autographs, and while I'm doing it, I'm having a good old chat. Love the chattage. And I signed it to dearest, Bob, lots of love and blessings, Virginia Hay, Zan. And I put hearts all around the photo. Really take my time. So if you're in a hurry, don't come to my booth. But if you want to have a good old chat and a good old hug, and solve some life problems, bit of career advice, maybe, come to
But
my
that's
table.
good, though, because you get to interact with fans. Fans obviously want to meet you, and you get to chat with them as
Yes,
well.
I love
And
it.
how
I love
often
it.
you get that opportunity? That's the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for some of them to meet you as well.
Exactly. Anyway, this particular time, I put lots of hearts around this guy's portrait. And he said to me, look, I want you to put something funny on the picture. I said, like funny what? A funny saying? He said, no, just something a bit sort of flirty. I said, oh, well, I don't usually, because it's just it's sisterly love from me. Anyway, so we had a bit of a giggle, a bit of a banter, and then he decided that we could put something down that had about 12 different meanings. So I put down, it was his idea, I put thanks for last night. Now, thanks for last night, you dirty mind. It could be thank you for helping me with my luggage at the hotel, right? It could be, thank you for your help with
Finding directions.
Finding directions, yeah, it could be something really, really sweet. But of course, it's left to the person, whoever reads it will think something else into it. We thought it was really, really funny because it's actually something really nice, not necessarily something a bit sort of flirty. Off he goes. Next day, cutting a long story short, there's this woman gunning for me, going right, and I thought, she's heading right for me. I thought, oh God, someone's in trouble behind me. Ha ha ha. So I turn around. There's no one behind me, right? It's just me. So she's really heading for me, and she comes flying up to me and she said, I knew there was another woman, and now I've got proof. And I went, no. And she said, my husband didn't come back last night. I went, oh, no. So I said, it was a joke. She said, you may think it's a joke, but not to me. So that was the most frightened I've ever been at a show. And the most kind of hilarious thing that we did, we thought was funny, that really backfired. Yeah.
So you just stick to writing hearts now, just to be safe.
Yes, I do. Yes, I've learned my lesson. I don't write anything ambiguous anymore. I'm very, very careful. But I've had lots of amazing things happen, particularly with the furries. There are a lot of, people who dress in...
Yeah, and like the big foxes and things like that, My Little Ponies. And
I've actually been propositioned by a fox. Yeah, I know.
wow.
Yeah, well, yes. I thought I was actually very lucky at the
But
time.
what does the fox say, though? That's the bigger question. I know that was bad, but it had to be asked.
Yes, I don't think you really want to know at this stage because it was something that was really quite graphic. And I thought, do I slap a fox's face? Or do I just sort of say nothing and give him the evil eye, the stare?
Evil eye always works.
So I thought evil eye, yeah.
So talking about cons and traveling, you're originally from Australia, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
what's the transition from like moving from Australia to be like going all around the world to United States, to the UK and things like that? What's that been like travel-wise?
I tell you what, I don't want to make anyone jealous, but I just got the best job in the world. I seriously do. It's incredible. I used to travel a lot when I was a model before I started acting. Then when I started to act, I traveled also all over the place, because you do for various roles. Might be in someone might be in Africa, might be in England, might be in America, so forth. So the only downside is the jet lag. For example, I was at a Mad Max convention just this last weekend in Japan.
Yeah.
So I got back on Tuesday. So right now, I feel like the room is doing this from jet lag. But you do get used to it, and it's incredibly exciting. And I'm not open to any. This is not a hint or anything like that for anyone. But I'm single. I don't have a husband. I don't have kids. So I'm as free as a bird, and I don't have the stress that goes with it either, so it's brilliant. I'm really happy. So the thing is that when something like that, like a life partner, is grounding you and that it holds you in one place, you grow roots with that person. I don't have that, so...
You get to experience new things all the time and travel
I'm
around.
Free, yeah. So I can just take off any time. And I have to tell you, it really is incredibly exciting. And I'm such a chatterbox that it's the perfect job for me. It's sort of tailor-made for me. That and chat radio, probably, because I just love it.
Well, when we have the Virginia Hay stand here with the big banner, it's sorted.
Well, there you go. Yes, Brian should invite me to every single solitary show so I become a permanent fixture. Probably will, when I get really old, I'll probably come along and I'll just set up my little table in the corner and make tea for everyone, when I'm about 95. Yeah.
Well, I'll still come visit, don't worry.
Will you?
I will indeed.
Thank you.
Now, should we talk a bit of Farscape?
Yeah,
Should we talk a bit of, now, obviously, Sci-Fi abruptly cancelled it, and I think a lot of people were shocked because it was one of the, I'd say, strongest sci-fi shows on at the time. There's Buffy on and things like that, but Farscape had a really strong following, and then Sci-Fi abruptly cancelled it.
Well, what makes you think it was sci-fi?
See, I thought it was Sci-Fi.
Did you know?
I did.
Yes. Well, it's not. It wasn't. No, and I can understand it, and a lot of people felt the same way, because one minute they'd be watching Sci-Fi, they'd be watching Farscape on Sci-Fi. The next minute, Farscape was taken off Sci-Fi. So what do? You blame Sci-Fi because you don't know
any otherwise.
Any other way. Yeah. So. But what happened, without going into it, because otherwise it would be the Virginia Hay show.
It is, right now.
But it would go on forever and ever, since I do love a bit of a chat and a bit of a gossip. But trying to keep it sort of shortish. The Jim Henson Company, unfortunately, Jim Henson died and left the company to Brian Henson, which is fabulous, for him. And he wanted to make his new cool mark on the company, and he wanted to show the world that he was stepping it up and taking the Jim Henson Company into a whole new area.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why he concentrated on Farscape so much, because it gave him the opportunity to show his skill with production, with costuming, with editing, with script writing, every aspect of it. And Farscape was particularly rich in all of those aspects. So it was kind of like, not really showreel, but it was a showcase for him and as the new head of a giant mega company. So after a while, he decides, as a businessman does, for whatever reason, he decides to start culling things and chopping. I guess when you inherit something, even, unfortunately when your parents die, you have to go in there and sift through stuff, and you find things that aren't any use anymore, but they keep for emotional reasons. Yeah. And there was a lot of that with Jim. Jim had bought tons of things, and many, many years later, it's still there. So it's sort of a long story, but I'm trying to cut it down. So Brian decided to cut out all of the things that were perhaps not necessary, sell some things off. Maybe they had huge, who knows what the taxes and things were like. But he was doing a big cleanup. And along the way, at the end of this process, he had a lot of people wanting to buy the rights. Farscape was #1 show in the world. Yeah. So a lot of people were interested in buying the rights from him. He'd had it for, he still had the rights, but he was the boss of it for 2 years. Yeah. So this giant company swooped in and bought the rights. Not all of the rights, because Brian always kept tight control of creative control. Yeah. Always had the last say. Well, that company, after a little while, then sold it on. They got more offers, inundated with offers, sold it on. The company this is what I understand anyway, the final company that bought the rights, I suppose, this is guesswork from don't take this as Bible. This is Virginia Hay guesswork. But I guess that the shareholders wanted to know why the company was spending something like $10 million per episode and not getting that or more return. So the shareholders start jumping up and down when they're not making enough money. So Farscape was never designed to make money. It was designed as a creative showcase. Yeah. So it made some money, but not a lot, because it was so expensive, double, triple any other show. So it got pulled because the shareholders of this big, giant corporation felt that they weren't making a satisfactory amount, that they could invest that same money. It was just down to figures. Yeah. They could invest that same money in something else and get a bigger return. So Farscape was working one day, the next minute it went whoop.
Just gone.
Yeah, so it wasn't sci-fi at all. But I guess sci-fi just sat there and thought, well, why should we defend ourselves? We didn't do anything wrong, and it's good publicity for the Sci-Fi Channel, I guess.
Understandable as well.
Yeah. So anyway, Brian swooped in and tried to buy the rights back. Of course, this company went, "Oh, goody! Now we really are going to make some big money." And so there was toing and froing going on for about a year. Eventually, the price was right, and he made Peacekeeper Wars. Yeah. That's what happened.
So that's the short version.
That's the short version. Yes, the long version is about 5 times longer than that, because I love to tell a story. I'm an actor, I love telling stories. So, yeah, sorry about that. And you don't have an opportunity to edit because it's live.
It's fine. I was also interested in how things like that come about as well, and it's obviously tough as an actor because you don't have as much control and much say as what's going on. So one minute you could have an acting job, the next minute you could be going to casting somewhere else.
Yeah, we have no control. We're just no control at all. So at any moment, you could be the carpet sort of pulled from under your feet. But in a weird way, now I can't speak for every actor in the world, but we are sort of addicted to adrenaline in a way, because it's not exactly a solid job. You're constantly worried about, are you ever going to work again? You know, after your first job, am I ever going to get a second job? So, and we actors love it when a role is really difficult and it's really painful and it wrenches at us. You know, we love it even more. So we do love a bit of an adrenaline rush, I think.
Well, final question, because I'm
Yes.
just aware of the time as well.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's interesting. I love all this sort of stuff.
We could talk we could actually carry on
Well,
talking.
what we'll do is we'll just book out a stand next to MCM and we'll just have a little show
There you
thing
go.
there. We'll just have our own little stand. Just
and it
have
just
chats.
says "talk to me,"
Yeah,
and then I'll be there.
that'll work.
And it should say "chattage."
We'll work on the name. We'll get it branded, sorted.
We are teasing everybody, by the way. It's not real. Yes, go on. Last question.
Final question is, if you could appear in any sci-fi show now, is there any that kind of take your preference?
Oh my God, there's so many. There was a couple that got cancelled. Was it AI?
AI,
I kind of liked AI. Do you know what? This is a really commercial one. There's two really super commercial. There's lots of Netflix, really dark, interesting ones that I quite rather like the look of. But I think I would love to be in Game of Thrones. It's not exactly sci-fi, but could be considered in that genre, sort of.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones as, maybe the Queen's cousin or something mad like that, or a witch would be
That'd be
fabulous.
cool.
I would love that, with a big nose. And also, of course, I would love to be in Iron Man as an aging superhero, as an aging one of the guest cast members.
Yeah, that'd be
You know,
cool.
so a 65-year-old in a cat suit, I think, could look quite cool. Maybe I could start a trend.
Yeah, next Comic Con, cat suit, at the Chattage stand with us, a little
Chattage.
private booth.
Pensioner Chattage in a cat suit.
Well, I
look,
think
we're really starting something
We've,
now.
we've got something sorted.
I
We've
really
got
do.
something
I
sorted.
really think we do.
We'll get on the Brian, we'll get it sorted.
There you go. Oh, sorry, Brian. I'm so sorry. Poor thing.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut it there. As much
Okay.
fun as it's been. But hopefully I'll get to chat to you again at some future con as well. And we can
Thank
continue
you.
with a little chattage.
Thank you
But
very
let's
much.
hear it for
Chattage.
Virginia here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.